Hello to all astrology lovers. In this video, we'll talk about the transit of Mercury through the zodiac sign Capricorn, which started on January 8th, 2025. And in Capricorn, Mercury will stay almost until the end of the month, until January 28th. And before we look at the specifics of this transit, let's talk about its influence on our lives. In general, we'll discuss Mercury, its influence on our lives. Let's talk in general about Mercury. Let me remind you what role Mercury plays in our astrology. First of all, it's the closest planet to the sun, and it is responsible for the mind, for communication, for intelligence, our logic. Its energy moves very quickly. Communication, intelligence, our logic. Its energy moves very quickly. It's just a swift wind. And Mercury in astrology and mythology is known as the messenger of the gods, specifically in Roman mythology. And of course, this reflects its role in the interpretations of natal charts and astrological forecasts. Mercury, in the context of communication, is responsible for how we express our thoughts, how we communicate with others, and how we convey information and our ideas. In addition to this, in the context of intellect and thinking, Mercury is responsible for logic, for analysis, for information perception, and for the ability to learn. Moreover, it is very mobile, and accordingly, the topic of mobility and movement is relevant here. Here we are talking about travel, movement, and in general, adapting to new conditions. Moreover, Mercury is responsible for communication and trade, all kinds of exchanges, which include words, goods, and ideas. And it also has a certain symbolism in the physical world, meaning Mercury governs means of transportation. This is a car. This is all types of transportation or gadgets, these various gadgets, these various equipment, technology, phones, computers, tools that help us be productive in our daily lives. In general, Mercury is the energy of movement, the energy of flexibility, curiosity, inquisitiveness, and intellect. And it governs our thoughts, it governs our words, the choice of ways to communicate, and how we perceive the surrounding world through the context of information. Its energy is felt absolutely everywhere in our lives, where we need to adapt very quickly, to learn, to make decisions, to share knowledge. And now let's look at the features of how this energy manifests Mercury, specifically in the zodiac sign of Capricorn. First of all, Capricorn, let me remind you, is about stability, resilience, and practicality. And Mercury in the sign of Capricorn combines intelligence. With these themes, with practicality and discipline, its energy is focused on achieving specific results, simplifying complex ideas, and creating long-term ones. And moreover, Mercury in Capricorn is about the clarity of our thoughts. This is about organization, and it's about being goal-oriented. Here, it emphasizes the importance of our strategic thinking and our ability to see things through to completion. This is about organization, and it's about being goal-oriented. And here it emphasizes the importance of our strategic thinking, our ability to see things through to completion. In addition, let's take a look. What other key energies are there? Mercury in Capricorn is at work for us. First of all, these are energies related to logic and rationality, to rigor and consistency. So here we have Mercury, and in particular, intelligence. It prefers to work with facts and find clear, straightforward arguments for its ideas, avoiding emotions. Mercury in Capricorn structures, organizes, and plans long-term orderliness. So the energy of Mercury in Capricorn is connected to building systems. It helps us organize chaos. It helps us structure information, create plans, and specifically plan for the long term. Moreover, it's about strategic thinking, and of course, it's about a certain restraint in communication. There's quite a powerful kind of minimalism here. It can be traced in the words, in the accents, in the essence that we convey. In other words, it's the energy of Mercury in Capricorn, the essence that we convey. So it's the energy of Mercury in Capricorn. It supports constructive or clear communication without unnecessary emotionality. And now let's look at a number of significant aspects that Mercury will make during its transit through the zodiac sign of Capricorn. First of all, I want to point out that the transit begins with a square to the karmic nodes. There may be a period of intense inner conflicts related to making crucial decisions. This opens intense inner conflicts related to making crucial decisions. Important choices between the past and the future, which will simultaneously require us to find a balance between our personal independence and the need to align our actions with our relationships with others, considering their needs and desires, individuality and needs. To align our actions with our relationships with others, considering their needs and desires. In general, this aspect makes us think about the communicative tasks that are specifically related to the development of individual qualities and skills, but at the same time, old habits also play an important role here. Some kind of dependency is the south node in Libra, and this can certainly hinder progress. The square can trigger situations where thoughts and communications face resistance, challenging us to reassess goals and interaction methods. It encourages breaking old patterns and seeking new communication approaches. These challenges necessitate readiness for difficulties, but changes are essential according to the North Node. Some old communication patterns, seeking new approaches in communication. And here what's important is to be ready for these kinds of difficulties. But at the same time, these changes are necessary according to the North Node. And at the same time, they strengthen our confidence. They direct our efforts specifically towards achieving personal goals. At the same time, we have a sextile working Mercury with the asteroid Vesta in Scorpio. The sextile gives us a very light, elusive, harmonious energy. It needs to be felt and utilized basically, and this aspect will create favorable conditions for deep concentration on the important aspects of our lives. Of course, you'll want to retreat and go inward, to do some inner work. In general, the asteroid Vesta in astrology is associated with an inward concentrated focus on a specific topic, and it activates our desire to explore hidden motives, hidden factors of our psyche. And Mercury in Capricorn gives this process structure and determination at the same time. This aspect may lead us to be inclined to analyze and reassess our long-term goals, especially in those areas where increased efficiency is required, discipline. And here situations are possible when we get caught up in thoughts about our purpose, our personal mission, and our inner values. In addition, this is a good time to apply your knowledge and research skills to solve problems of this kind that are related to both personal and professional issues, which require us to do a deep analysis. On January 10th, we have another sextile between Mercury in Capricorn and Venus in Pisces. And here, very harmonious conditions are created for constructive communication, specifically in romantic relationships or in creative projects and initiatives. Venus in Pisces activates our intuitive understanding, empathy, and the ability for deep emotional perception. Mercury in Capricorn here enhances rationality and structure, practical thinking, and a very interesting aspect that can contribute to situations where we manage to find balance between our emotional and rational decisions, especially in matters related to money and personal romantic relationships. Either these are some creative projects or these are themes, self-expression. Here, successful conversations about joint financial plans are possible, or discussions that could lead to new opportunities in creativity, in personal projects, or of course in personal romantic relationships. So this is a time to address issues requiring both emotional and intellectual maturity, with a focus on long-term perspectives. On January 12th, Mercury in Capricorn will begin its conjunction with the asteroid Fall, and the exact conjunction will take place on January 15th, 2025. How will it work in our lives? First and foremost, it will create situations when important thoughts, words, and ideas become turning points that change the course of events in our lives. The asteroid fall. It's connected to moments when something completes its long-term cycle, when something comes to a logical end. And the conjunction with Mercury will definitely bring certain events and emphasize this process specifically through communication, through awareness, through the new understanding and perception of what is happening in our lives. During this period, decisive conversations may happen, decisive conversations that will open up for us new perspectives. But nevertheless, situations may arise when some unfinished business may require our attention and some adjustments before it comes to an end. In general, this aspect can lead to very important insights and ideas that bring about radical changes in our thinking, and they help us complete our old life cycles and prepare for new ones. On January 16th, we have the sextile between Mercury and Saturn in Pisces. This will create favorable conditions for productive thinking and planning, especially in those areas where a truly serious approach is required: discipline, structure. Saturn in Pisces calls us to a deeper understanding of our spiritual and emotional aspects of life, because after all, the energies of Pisces, Mercury, and Capricorn, it helps us to formulate clear, practical solutions that will play a very important role in achieving our long-term life goals. In general, this aspect can create situations where our thoughts and ideas will start to take shape, a real tangible form or structure, and it will also contribute successful negotiations and communications related specifically to serious commitments. These can be legal issues, financial matters, and they can also relate to personal relationships. Here, there are fortunate moments to overcome our internal barriers, to organize, let's say, our emotions, and this will help us move forward towards a stable and sustainable future. The main thing here is to feel and capture this energy. On January 18th, Mercury will conjoin with another asteroid, and that asteroid is Pallas, also in Capricorn. It will definitely provide a series of events, and this conjunction can activate some of our intellectual and strategic decisions that are specifically related to long-term projects in any area of life. It's important to look at which house in the horoscope this conjunction is happening in, and it's also necessary to develop a clear approach to implementing these long-term projects. The asteroid Pallas, it symbolizes wisdom in our lives, specifically that strategic thinking, the ability to solve problems. And when it conjoins with Mercury, this ability is particularly enhanced towards an analytical approach to solving life situations, for deep reflection, and it helps us find truly thoughtful, very significant solutions for our lives. This aspect can also lead to a situation where we tend to be very detailed in analyzing important life issues, especially when it comes to career, finances, and long-term professional plans. Because after all, Capricorn is symbolic, the 10th house of the horoscope. But we also look at the placement in the natal chart, in which field of the horoscope this conjunction is taking place, to understand which areas of life will be affected. Here, there may be moments when you'll be able to find the optimal solutions for very complex problems. Apply logic, apply strategy, clarify misunderstanding, to clarify any misunderstandings that arose earlier. On January 20th, a square with Chiron in Aries will start to form, and Chiron, our healer, is here. Interacting with Mercury can create tension between rational thinking and our emotional traumas or vulnerabilities that relate to Whether it concerns our personal identity or the theme of self-confidence, Mercury in Capricorn tends to the structure of Heron, Aries. It specifically activates painful themes related to our self-expression, our initiative, or our personal ambitions. In general, this aspect will create situations where we will have to confront our internal blocks. Overall, this aspect will create situations where we will have to confront our internal blocks, complexes, and old traumas that hinder us from making important decisions in our lives and prevent us from expressing confidence in our actions. To confront our internal blocks, complexes, old traumas that hinder making important decisions in our lives, that prevent us from expressing confidence in our actions. So this is a time when words and communication will touch on our sore spots, make us reconsider. In general, the theme of our personal power, overcoming these tensions, will require, of course, patience and awareness of these vulnerabilities, and it will require work. Such deep psychological work on our confidence in order to get rid of these personal obstacles. On January 24th, the trine between Mercury in Capricorn and retrograde Uranus in Taurus will start to form. Here, the aspect will create very favorable conditions for revisiting and structuring our unconventional ideas, especially regarding financial matters, earnings, and our overall stability, our psychological security. Uranus in Taurus, especially in retrograde, brings about unexpected yet internal conscious changes, let's say, that are aimed at reevaluating our values, including material values, reevaluating our approaches to stability. Conscious, so to speak, changes that are aimed at reevaluating our values, including material values, reevaluating our approaches to stability. And the combination with Mercury in Capricorn, which aims for rationality and long-term plans, key insights and solutions for finance, career, and income, leading us to very important insights and unconventional solutions that we can apply practically in our lives, especially in the areas of finance, professional achievements, earnings, and personal relationships that relate to long-term perspectives. Especially in the area of finance, in the area of professional achievements, in the area of earnings, personal relationships that specifically relate to long-term perspectives. This is a time when we can reassess our old working methods and we are open to something new. Everything that provides us with long-term stability can suddenly become possible here. Suddenly, we can find ways to improve our financial situation and the material conditions of our lives by using new technologies or methods. On January 22nd, we will have the opposition of Mercury in Capricorn with retrograde Mars in Cancer. There will be challenging situations of a tense nature or conflict situations. These will be related to communication, especially in personal and family matters. Retrograde Mars is prone to reactions. It can awaken old grievances, bring issues to the surface. Mercury insists on logic and clarity. It can bring unresolved emotional issues to the surface. In Mercury in Capricorn, it demands logic, practicality, and clarity, and this aspect will lead to confusion when our emotions oppose our rational mind, to disputes, especially when our emotions conflict with our rational mind. And here it's important to be especially attentive. Our emotions clash with our rational mind. And here it's important to be especially attentive when expressing your thoughts and desires. It's important to avoid hurting other people's feelings or getting into destructive conflicts. This is a time to consciously work with your inner emotions, to avoid hasty words and actions, and to focus on what you need to consciously regroup your strengths in order to achieve constructive interaction, while also using your emotional intelligence to regroup your strengths in order to achieve constructive interaction, while also using your emotional intelligence. On this day, a square with Lilith in Libra will also begin to form, and this will add even more tension between rational, practical actions and hidden subconscious motives related to the Black Moon, because Lilith is exactly what governs this reasonable, practical actions and hidden subconscious motives according to the Black Moon. Because Lilith is exactly what governs this, and this will be, in relationships, the theme of justice related to Lilith in Libra will be activated here. It is related to the shadow aspects of interactions with other people, for example, with those who feel unfairly judged or forgotten. Mercury in Capricorn gives us an objective perception, and this aspect will create situations when words and thoughts touch on hidden wounds related to relationships, partnerships, or even business interactions. Here, there may be moments when our inner doubts or hidden aggressions start to come to the surface, and this, without a doubt, leads to conflicts. It definitely leads to misunderstandings. So it's very important to be attentive here to your emotions, to your intuition regarding the black moon, and to avoid manipulations in interactions. On the contrary, to engage in a constructive dialogue. So success gives us a chance to realize and integrate these hidden needs into our relationships, into our interactions, and establish harmony within them. Mercury will also form a sextile with the asteroid Juno in Scorpio here. And these will be harmonious conditions for intellectual and emotional work in the area of partnerships and personal relationships. Juno in Scorpio symbolizes the depth of our attachments, themes of loyalty, and themes of emotional commitment in relationships. Mercury in Capricorn will add to this emotional commitment in relationships. Mercury in Capricorn will add structure to this structure, let's say. Exactly, to issues of collaboration, shared commitments, and building relationships. The aspect will create situations where it's necessary to discuss important personal matters that are related to partnerships, joint long-term projects, and obligations. The aspect will create situations where it's necessary to discuss important personal matters that are related to partnerships, joint long-term projects, and commitments. This is also a time to establish honest communication with loved ones and build deeper and more stable relationships based on already mature decisions. On January 28th, on the day of the sign change, Mercury will already be in conjunction with Pluto in Aquarius, and it will smoothly move from Capricorn to Aquarius. Plus, this aspect, bringing events into our lives, creates powerful, deep thinking and transformational processes in the context of communication and our information, and the conjunction will be noticeable. The processes are precisely in the context of communication, in the context of information that we possess and use in our lives, and the connection in general will be very particularly noticeable. When Mercury starts to transition, it will enhance Pluto's influence in this zodiac sign, Aquarius. Well, first of all, the aspect, it will reflect on all forms of our communication. Here, Pluto in Aquarius highlights the need to change our views on the necessity to transform our established views, especially at the level of any types of relationships. As Mercury enters Aquarius, it will also activate visual aspects at the level of any types of relationships. Mercury, as it enters Aquarius, it will also activate visual aspects. So this means some new unconventional solutions. By joining with Pluto, it will stimulate changes in our relationships. So we're talking about some new, unconventional solutions. Connecting with Pluto, it will stimulate changes in our relationships, including relationships with larger communities, group processes, and it will even touch upon our worldview. So here, in this aspect, there will be a simultaneous awareness of hidden dynamics and motives in any type of communication, revealing the truth that used to remain completely in the shadows. There will be very deep internal changes in the way we perceive what's happening in our lives. And besides that, Pluto will free us from old, outdated ideas, stereotypes, forms of communication, and it will give us the opportunity to build completely new approaches, new strategies. So Pluto is always about transformations, personal crises, and changes. All of this will primarily happen in communications, in our relationships, and will extend to our social activity. And in order to effectively harness the energies of this transit, we need to be open to these changes. We need to be ready, to be flexible. like with Mercury, and overall, experiencing these moments will happen much more easily. And now let's take a look at the transit of Mercury and Capricorn for each of the 12 zodiac signs. Gemini. Mercury in Capricorn is transiting through your 8th house of the horoscope. And here it will activate themes of personal transformations for you, themes of financial commitments, shared resources, including the resources of your marital partner. Here, interests related to esotericism and mysticism will be activated. In addition, personal relationships and the theme of intimacy will come to the forefront. Mercury in Capricorn, it directs its attention to serious and intimate aspects of life while requiring structure in these areas. Serious and intimate sides of life. It requires structure in these areas. It will activate the theme for you. Finances. So this is a discussion about financial issues related to managing credits, taxes, insurance, topics of inheritance, topics of shared finances with partners. In addition, the transit, there will be, in fact, a deep self-analysis related to your personal obstacles, barriers, fears, traumas, or hidden motivations. This is the theme of transformation through the 8th house of the horoscope. Some of you will feel the urge to explore mysticism, esotericism, psychology, or dive into psychotherapy. During this transit, there will be an increased tendency to discuss deep topics in personal relationships, especially related with trust, emotional closeness, and the theme of intimacy. Well, overall, the transit will push you towards analyzing complex life situations and finding solutions, especially related to analyzing complex in life situations and finding solutions, especially related to finances, with the theme of emotions. To work through the energy of this transit, engage in financial negotiations, and make sure to resolve all money issues and obligations. And here, it's really good to work on and process your personal crises. Dive into these situations, discuss vulnerable topics. Personal crises, dive into these situations, discuss vulnerable topics, and structure some things in your life in order to they didn't interfere with the further course and experience of your life. It would be good to conduct a financial analysis. It would be good to involve your partner in these topics. For those who find it relevant, study psychology, dive into the topic of esotericism, explore deep topics, investigate. These can be books, courses, and conversations with people who are passionate about these topics. So keep an eye on your emotions, because in the 8th house, there might be some impulsive reactions. And Mercury in Capricorn will provide supportive energy to have dialogues more calmly and in a structured way. I wish you success. Subscribe, like, and share this